What's up guys? The moment is here. Josh's NC MX5, the build we've been working on for the last 6 months, is finally finished, and in this video you're going to see it, to be fair, looking very, very cool. But before I get to all that and before Josh explains it and shows you guys the car, I want to do a little talk about why we built this car and why I think Josh deserves this car to be built for him. Now, Blaine is editing this video, so Josh won't hear this till it goes out, but Josh has been pretty much one of the most influential people, I think, in European drifting for probably the last 7 or 8 years. He's made thousands of videos for the Irish Drift Championship, British Drift Championship, Drift Masters, and people like James Dean have worked with him. You know, he's done so much for the sport, and for all of those years that he's done all that for the sport, he's worked above and beyond what anybody asked him to do. He's done edits through the night till 3 and 4 in the morning just to make sure that everything looked as good and that every event and driver that we were focusing on was promoted in the best way possible. And throughout that time, Josh never wanted much attention for it. He never put his name on any video. He never really wanted the fame or the recognition for how much work he did. He actually was just happy that the sport of drifting was looking good to everybody and grabbing new audiences. When we came to this project and I was looking to put together a team, I think Josh definitely stood out as someone who deserved that we were going to invest in his drift career, in his car. Now, the reason I really wanted to invest in Josh and his drift car and him following his dreams is simply because over those 7 or 8 years, he's never asked to be a professional driver. He's never asked for anyone to build him a car. He's never expected it. He's never asked for anything really. He's never complained. We've thrown incredible amounts of work at him. We've thrown so much hardship at him and really expected him to come through on every single time, and he did. And I could never have afforded to pay him enough for all the work he's done. I don't think drifting could have afforded to pay him enough for all of the amazing edits and documentaries and films that he's made. So I think for watching drifting for so long, I'm really proud of Josh getting into this project, managing it from start to finish, building his dream car. And I'm so happy that he's at a point where he's so happy with the car. I know you guys are going to see it in a few moments and you're going to agree, but he's been an amazing friend to all of us. He's been an amazing sense of comedy value, as you guys know. He's been sort of, I suppose, through tough times, especially in the last while, he's been a really sense of brightness to everybody because he always takes a positive note on everything. And I think if anyone deserves to be out on that track after promoting so many events and drivers, it's Josh. And I'm really proud of him taking the lead on this project. I'm really proud of him staying true to his guns and building the car that he wanted to build. I was very careful when we started this to say to him, don't just build a car to win. You could have built an S15 with a 2J or whatever, and it wouldn't be Josh. And I said, if you're going to build a car that's just to win, just to be competitive, then it's not as fun because all you can do is win, and if you don't win, it's a disappointment. Whereas if you build a car that you truly love, the styling of, the chassis, everything about it, you're just going to enjoy looking at that car. You're going to enjoy driving it even if you're not driving well. You're going to enjoy going to events and showing it to people even if you don't do that well. So it takes the pressure off. So without further ado, and I'm going to stop talking, but I really wanted to just say that we're all proud of Josh here at Drift Games. We definitely think he deserves this opportunity, and we definitely want you guys to support him because he is very, very nervous of the few weeks ahead. But without further ado, after 6 long months of hassle and pain, here is Josh Holdsworth's Drift Games NC MX5 with an SR20.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a past the doctor. I got a 6th sense for imposters, so now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break things. They try to hold me, I'ma push back. Just wait and you'll see.
Okay, so here she is. It's still bizarre to me. Like, we've been putting, over 150 days now into building a car, and it's very surreal that within a week we're going to be driving this in competition. And I'm not going to lie, me and Dave went into this very naive because we kind of thought, you fabricate a car, then bolt everything else in, and we've learned the hard way and the long way that that is not the case at all. Like, for example, even the bolt-on parts, if you've been watching the series, they were never bolt-on. So first of all, I'm going to go through why I picked this car, seeing as it's not a very conventional car. As we've learned, there's no real parts for this car drift-wise, and yeah, just why I picked it. So since going to drifting, I had a Mark 1 MX5 on the road, which then later turned into my last competition car, which was the yellow and purple one. This is kind of the ultimate version of what I wanted the last car to be, and this is just to another level of ridiculousness. So we're going to kind of go through the car and go through all the people that have helped us along the way and everyone that's got involved in it and kind of the backstory of everything that's on the car. So we're starting off with the engine, which is the SR20 out of Dave's old competition car, the blue and purple one. So straight away I kind of wanted to keep it in theme of a 4-cylinder engine. It's something that I always wanted to put in my old car, so when I had the chance to build this car, that's the engine that I wanted to go on. Obviously, since then it's had quite a lot of bits put in. Racing lines came in with loads of fancy little bits. It's got a new fuel rail on the top, allowing for bigger injectors. Fortunately, as you probably know, the turbo went on the dyno, so we have this fancy turbo. I've got no one even here to help me. So yeah, essentially the older turbo was very laggy. So this is actually a smaller turbo, but it's a more modern turbo, allowing the same amount of power with less lag. Or so I've been told. We got Axel that came in from the UK. He supplied us with the BMC filter. And then at the front, we have the Japspeed radiator and intercooler. As a brief backstory, I'm not sure if Dave said it or not, but Japspeed is how I got into drifting. I started filming for Japspeed and stuff like that, and that's kind of how I got to here, I say. So it may not be the biggest sponsor on the car, but I kind of think it's quite a cool story that I started off filming for them, and then however 9 years later going back for sponsorship to them is like quite a nice little link I thought. And it's always nice to have the Japspeed sticker on the car. I kept it on my old car and I'm able to keep it on this car, which I really like. Okay, so moving on to the outside. We had a body kit in mind. COVID happened and that company shut down. And I would honestly say one of the unsung heroes of this project was Paulius down at TH Components, because we literally, like all arches, the bonnet vents, the splitters, underskirts, the rear arches, we just kind of went down and said, every single universal part that you have, can we take and make something work? So not one of these add-ons is actually for this car. So like this arch isn't for, the skirt's kind of modified on and everything like that. I quite like that there's no other MX5 like that. You could have gone down the Mad Mike way and put the RX-7 kit onto it, the Rocket Bunny kit. But I think when that's such a known MX5, it's quite nice to have something completely different. And without Paulius, well, the car would look nothing like this for starters. And along with that, all the powder coating on the car, all the powder coating, you can kind of see inside. Every single part that we could on the car, we kind of powder coated, which for me is a nice finishing touch to the car. Moving on to the main sponsors, Mobil One, where we are here now, Strom Wheels, Link ECU and Moorfield Motors. They really entrusted us to make this project happen. They allowed us to kind of make this financially viable, I would say. Like, this project genuinely wouldn't have happened without them. So yeah, massive, massive thank you to these guys for putting their trust in us. And I mean, hopefully it's a long-lasting partnership and hopefully we can do them proud. Along with that, on the car, we're running all the Link engine management goodies, I call them, because I've never known like all the high-tech things that are in here. So we've got the digital dash there. You can see on the inside, we've got the Link ECU. So with this ECU, you can pretty much put all the Link catalog on there. So you got a GPS sensor, so it tells you how fast you're going, which is bizarre in a drift car. Not many do that. We have sensors attached to every handbrake, pedal and everything like that. So they've kind of taken away every racing driver excuse that me and Dave can have. So, I mean, if we pull the handbrake on full throttle and we break something, unfortunately Wayne will find out and he will give out to us. Then we have Motorsport 56, that's Bob Stevens. So he completely wired the car, and I will say we did it in the most unconventional way. Dave's car was a shell with an engine in and nothing else, and he managed to wire it. And then we were running out of time that much, he actually came down to our garage and wired this car just to help us out with a bit more time. So on the inside as well, Group D came in as kind of our technical support, I would call it, technical advisors. So Darren down at Group D, he pretty much, anything we had a problem with, we would go to him, and I mean, every single time he found a solution. He also made us look very fancy, and we have this switch panel here, so we have nothing really on the dash. We only have a kill switch on the dash. So everything is done on the steering wheel. We also have his handbrake, which is very nice. That's on a bearing, so there's no rickety things. And he pretty much supplied us with all the little bits on the car, like the seat, the fire extinguishers, the plumbed-in fire extinguisher. If we move on to the boot, he supplied us with the fuel tank, and then underneath the car, all of the filters, fuel pumps, the whole system, everything down to the clutch pedal, because we had problems with the original one, so we had to get this special order one from America. Apparently it's very confusing, but yeah, he sorted all of that. We're running the DS25s from Strom. These wheels have, I mean, we've tried these on countless cars, American cars, Japanese cars, European cars, and these wheels look class on every single car, it seems like. There's not a car we've found so far that don't actually look good on them. So tyres are obviously one of the most important things with drifting, and last year we got supported by the tyre box, and they've come in again this year. So tyre box is supplying us with all our rear tyres, steering tyres, and as you can see, fancy stickers on the outside to show what we're actually running. So behind here, that you can't really see, so we're running BC coilovers. So we haven't had a chance to drive the cars yet, but we've heard great things about the coilovers, and we really look forward to trying them out. Along with that, Destroy or Die. So essentially at the start of the project, we contacted Dan Pryor, that is the owner of Destroy or Die, and he makes all the stuff for Mark 1 MX5s, and I've been running his kit since I've had a kit on the Mark 1. So we put it to him to actually develop a kit for the Mark 3, and surprisingly, he said yes, and then 4 months later, he had the kit on, it's on the car, it looks great, we've set it up. This is a prototype kit that's on it at the moment, and we look forward to developing the kit with him. So, moving on from the suspension and steering kit, we have Sunico. Sunico supplying all the race fuel for the season, and running these cars on race fuel just makes the fuel that much more consistent. You can push the engine and have it running a lot safer. Okay, so that pretty much covers all of the parts of the car, and obviously finishing off we have Precision Tinted Graphics, who have done more than enough for us. This car came down in all different shades, colors. We weren't even supposed to get it wrapped with them, and they took it on, they blasted it out in I think a day, and honestly they've done a great job on the car. So it's hard to see in the camera at the moment, but it is reflective, so when light shines on it, obviously reflects back and gives a really cool like second layer to the whole livery. So moving on to the actual building of the car. So first of all is the fabrication to the car, which if you guys have been watching the channel, Ryan Morton did Vital Fabrications. Since this project came about, that's the person I wanted to do this car, because his attention to detail is second to none. I mean, if you look at all the little details that he's put into it, he's put like little gussets here, like he's really tried to like millimeter perfect to everything that he does, and his finish is just second to none. He originally came in for a month just to fabricate both the cars, and after the fabrication he kind of came on as staff to help finish the car. Obviously Wayne, who he kind of adopted us, he let us have a shed in his yard. I'm not sure what he thought he was getting himself into, but he's been one of the biggest parts in this car. He's done countless late nights and everything like that. All the mechanicals, all the fittings, all the annoying jobs, all the fiddly jobs, all the jobs that nobody else wanted to do. He's taken on and just churned through all that, and without those two people, honestly, these cars would not be done to the level that they are now and in the time frame that it was in. So that kind of runs through the whole car. That was actually a lot longer than I actually thought. The last thing to really thank is the whole Drift Games team, because without the Drift Games team, none of this would have happened. Everyone's kind of chipped in, everyone's done late nights, whether it be for picking stuff up, for coming down to the garage and helping, whether it be bringing food, emotional support, which was needed a lot on this. It's been a real team effort, and I think it's really shown that, I mean, if we got through this, we can get through anything, I suppose. So obviously mention the team, I'm not forgetting Mike. Mike was around at the start of the build, and unfortunately he's not here at the end of the build, but he chipped in a lot at the start, so thank you Mike, and I shall be chasing you hopefully soon. Okay, so last of all, there's only one person really left to thank, at least I hope there's only one person left to thank, and that's Dave. Me and Dave have been working together for 5 6 years now. Started our journey in Dubai. I moved over to Ireland with him, and we've been running, filming, something to do with drifting all that time. And it's kind of crazy to think that now we're doing something completely new, which is actually we're going to be a drift team together. We're going to be driving on track. And honestly, if you'd have said this to me 5-6 years ago, that was going to be happening, I'd have called you bonkers. But this is actually a dream come true at this moment, and it honestly wouldn't be able without him. Somehow he has these crazy ideas in his head and somehow justifies them and then makes them work. So I still don't quite know how he does it. The car's here, so I guess he has done it. So yeah, looking forward to this new adventure. Okay, so I'm going to round this off here. Obviously there was more people involved. There was Murray Motorsport, Droney, Dean Martin, Yaudi. People chipped in, come down to the garage, giving a hand, helping us out with parts last minute, everything like that. So massive appreciation to them. I'm going to round off this video here. Sorry if that was a bit rambly, but turns out there's actually a lot more that's actually gone into the car than I thought. I hope you like it. I'm in love with it. I'm emotionally attached to it. I feel part of it. I feel like it's my child at this point. I've spent that much time with it. I've probably seen this car lately more time I have my actual girlfriend. So thank you very much to her for putting up with me, or actually not putting up with me for not being there. So yeah, the car is complete. We're going to be testing in a few days. You guys will be seeing that. We're going to be posting this week more on the fly. It's going to be more raw. We're going to be going BDC. We're going to be showing you all around that. And yeah, I'm stopping my rambling now. So yeah, hope you like it. Finally, the payoff is there for you guys and for us, where we actually drive this.